Wow. Vancouver just absolutely decimated San Diego FC on the road to advance to the MLS Cup Final and take on Inter Miami next Saturday in their first MLS Cup Final to see if they will be the champions of Major League Soccer. You know, I thought this game was going to be close. I thought this was going to be a competitive match. And even in my predictions, I said 3-2. Vancouver's still going to beat San Diego FC, but Vancouver just dominated this match. I think from start to finish. And I even said at one point that I thought LAFC versus Vancouver was going to be the true Western Conference final. And after what I saw tonight, I stand by that. I think that was a very accurate prediction or take on just how good that game was last week compared to this one. So let's get into the first half. You know, San Diego FC is playing at home. They have a very great player in Anders Dreyer, who I thought was going to not take over this game, but be very impactful. But man, Vancouver had a great game plan. They surrounded Anders Dreyer at all times, had two guys swarming him, and try to force everyone else to beat Vancouver. And it was just perfect. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, make sure you give it a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We are trying to hit 12,000 subscribers by MLS Cup Final Day, which is a little over a week away. We're less than 900 till we hit 12K. And with your help, I know we can reach that goal. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and hit that little bell notification so you never miss a video. Now, back to the video. Perfect game plan executed by Vancouver Whitecaps. In the 8th minute, Brian White scored, and at that point, I thought, okay, Vancouver's definitely they're looking like they did in the first half against LAFC. They're dominating. They look like the better team, and then 3 minutes later, they had another goal. 3 minutes later, so 11 minutes in, they're up 2-0. Then I was like, okay, Vancouver, they're gonna roll San Diego FC. San Diego FC looks like an expansion team right now. They just don't look like they're ready for the spotlight, you know? And look, if you look at the team that they have, this is a whole new collection of players. This is not they don't really have anything like this in any other league in the world where you have an entire new team of players. Not this is not, hyperbolic. This is like literally they have a whole new team of players. San Diego FC do. They have a whole new team of players. They've never played with each other before until the season and a brand new coach. So it's just very different. And this is like the first night where they looked like they were an expansion club. So they're down 2-0. They look lifeless. And then in the 45th minute, and added time in the first half, they go down 3-0 to Vancouver. That was it. That was when you knew it was over. I mean, Brian White has a brace. Thomas Müller didn't even really look that good tonight. He was okay, but everyone else looked great. Sabi was great. Ahmed was great in the first half and in the second half. They looked good. Everyone. It's so funny that Mueller was probably, and not to say he was bad. He wasn't bad at all, but it kind of reminds me of the Miami game where Messi didn't have his best game. Mueller didn't have his best game either. And they still dominated San Diego FC. That's just how good the team around them is. Kubas is good. Berhalter was good in the first half. And I really wanted to see what the back line was going to look like uh, without Tristan Blackman playing, and they looked good. They were fine. There was no issues whatsoever. The back line was solid. So the first half ends. Vancouver's up 3-0 over San Diego FC, and it looks like it's over. Well, then they subbed in Chucky Lozano in the second half in the 46th minute, right at the beginning of the half. They made three substitutions actually, and the team looked immediately better. It looked immediately better. Chucky Lozano scored in the 60th minute. The team looked way better, like immediately. And they had several opportunities else in the second half. There was a couple. If it wasn't for Takioka having the game of his life, the Japanese international for Vancouver. And by the way, you guys need to learn his name. He's a great goalkeeper. He's top 3 goalkeeper in Major League Soccer. Debatably the best goalkeeper in Major League Soccer, but definitely top 3. But when Chucky Lozano came in, it changed the entire game. And it just makes me think that what was Mikey Veras thinking? You have this high priced player who's supposed to be an impact player on your team. He's a designated player on your team. He's supposed to be one of the guys. He was supposed to be the guy before Anders Dreyer. Anders Dreyer took that over from him with as good of a season as he's had. Why was he not starting? Pellegrino was good. But why was Chucky Lozano not starting? I don't care what he did off the field unless it was illegal. If he's good enough to make the bench, he should be starting. Like you saw the impact and the quality he had immediately off the bench. He should have been playing this whole time. That was a massive error by Mikey Veras to not start Chucky Lozano because I believe if he had started this entire game, the results could have been different. Could have been different. Not saying they would be, could have been different. And we saw what he did in the second half. And they had several opportunities. Like I said, Takioka was just balling out, and there was just nothing they could really do about it. Now, we'll say Jesper Sorensen did make one substitution that did puzzle me a little bit when he did take Thomas Müller out in the 61st minute. I thought that might have been a little too early. I thought he should have played at least 75, 80 minutes just in case something like this did happen that you had him on the field. But I didn't really agree with that. But especially because what happened with Chucky, like that late push that they had. But then the goalkeeper, he got a red card for San Diego FC in the 79th minute, and at that point it was really over. I mean, they're down 10 men to 10 men. They didn't have they're down 3-1. It was just a really really under. It was just a very, very underwhelming performance by San Diego FC in this match, especially as good as they were all regular season. And I said this, I'll say it again. They looked like an expansion team tonight. They look like a team who this is the first year that they've ever played together. So I'm not shocked. Expansion teams really have no business winning MLS Cup, if we're being honest, because it's their first year with all these hurdles they have. They should be very proud with what the season they've had to make it to the Western Conference Final, to be the first seed in the Western Conference in MLS in their first season. They should be very, very proud, hang their head high because they did great this season, as good as you possibly can for an expansion team, other than winning MLS Cup. But that realistically, they did very well, very, very well. Vancouver was just too much. The Vancouver game and San Diego game reminded me a lot of the Inter Miami and NYCFC game, just complete domination by one side. And now Vancouver, Jesper Sorensen, their story continues. They dominated this match, wasn't even close on the road. Now their story continues, and they're going to play Inter Miami in the MLS Cup final. And this is their second trophy they played for this year in 2025. The first one was the CONCACAF Champions Cup, where they lost to Cruz Azul 5-0, which was a very bad game. Now they get a chance to redeem themselves, and they get to play an MLS Cup against Inter Miami, a team they have done very well against in 2025. They're going to have a chance to win a trophy, a major trophy against a very big club. And we get Muller versus Messi. First time they played in a final against each other since 2014 when Germany played Argentina in the 2014 World Cup final. This is a big deal. This is a big game. It's going to be in Miami. One thing that's a disadvantage or not ideal for Vancouver is they have to travel from Vancouver to Miami, which is the two furthest MLS cities from each other in the entire league. So it's a long distance. That does suck. It's not ideal for Vancouver, but man, what a game from Vancouver. This game made me think that they might be able to beat Miami. I'm not making any predictions yet. It's way too early, but this is going to be a very, very evenly matched battle and game that really could go either way. And I think this is probably the ideal matchup you would want to see if you want to get the best result in the MLS Cup final, like the two best teams play. And a lot of people said they think these were the two best teams all along in Major League Soccer in 2025. And I tend to agree with them. They have been the most consistent, well-rounded teams the entire season, and they get a chance to play each other for the MLS Cup final. It's going to be an exciting game. Hats off to Javier Mascherano. Hats off to Jesper Sorensen. They made it to the final in their first year. It's going to be an incredible matchup. I can't wait to see what they can do and who ends up coming out on top. But man, what a great game by Vancouver in their magical season. They beat LAFC last week in a tough battle that went 2-2 and went into extra time and then penalties. Then they went on the road and completely dominated San Diego FC. San Diego FC just have a lot of holes they're going to have to fill this offseason if they really want to win. But Vancouver looked like the well-rounded team ready to win the trophy. I'm curious what you guys think. Do you think Vancouver can beat Inter Miami in the MLS Cup final? What do you think is going to happen with that? Are you excited to see that MLS Cup final? How impressed are you with San Diego FC's first season in Major League Soccer? Do you think it was impressive? Was it what you thought? Let me know down below what you guys think about these two teams and this game in general. Also, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that little bell notification so you never miss a video. And until next time, guys, I will see you all soon.